The hot mess astrology continues as we look at Ryan Reynolds and his marriage to Blake Lively, and how this whole situation has gotten so inflamed. So welcome. My name is Lydia. This is the Feng Shui and Bazi Chinese Astrology channel. And on this channel, I do like to read the charts of famous people. I think it helps us to better understand our own lives and our own astrology. So welcome. If this sparks interest for you, please subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss a single video. And if you like it, hit like. Any comments, please keep your comments kind, respectful, and meaningful. After all, if we have something to say, let's make sure that it's something worth sharing, right? So again, welcome. Now, I will say this stuff is, it kind of rides the line of just sensational news, and not something that is going to change the landscape of your life or my life, right? Let's be honest. But it does highlight bullying and how bullying shows up in our world. And I keep thinking of the video that I put out that really skyrocketed this channel to where it is, was the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. And it was a similar situation where you have the fire penalty going on. And I remember Amber Heard having the fire penalty in the month of May of that year. I think it was 2021. And how I predicted she was going to lose just on that. And then you dug deeper and you could see how there were even more cracks in her astrology, saying there was no way she'd win. And the thing that's so interesting that you got to remember about these astrology readings, yes, the names attached to the astrology chart is somebody that we know and is very famous, but it could just as easily be you or me. Knowing your Bazi Astrology, you might already know your Western astrology, but this is a different way of looking at it. So Chinese astrology is, something that I call of the earth, whereas Western astrology is of the sky. As above, so below. You get more of a full understanding of your astrological story. And the Bazi Chinese astrology is very much based on the 5 elements and 12 Chinese zodiac animals. And the most important part of your chart is the day you're born. Your year has an influence. I kind of think of it like the umbrella. It has the overarching personality, but that day pillar is you. And the element, which is called the stem, sitting on top of that zodiac animal, says that is your element. Your element is everything to your health, your relationships, everything stems from that. So, for instance, like if we're looking at Blake Lively, okay, and we see that she is, sorry, get you into focus here, she's a yang fire person, right? And so as a yang fire person, we are able to see all the different aspects to her work, how she interacts with her husband, everything. So Blake's horse, she is a fire horse day. I'm a fire horse year, and that's a lot. A day is off the charts. If you've got a fire horse day, holy mackerel, are you a lot. because horses in general, and I know this is a Ryan Reynolds reading here, but we're bringing in Blake because they're married and this lawsuit going on with Justin Baldoni. So this is like a follow-up to the video I did last week. I'll put a link to that in the description below for you. And there's been a lot of interesting comments on that video. And that's one of the reasons I was like, let's take this to the next level. If we're really going to unpack all of this, because it is a curious thing. It's a he said, she said, he said, right? What is truth? And wow, if this isn't our time, this is the time for acknowledging what is truth. And the age of Aquarius, which is Western astrology, dovetailed with period 9 flying stars feng shui, Eastern. Those two together speak the same message, that this time that we're in is the great fall of Hollywood. It is the dissolution of this idea of lauding people just because they're rich and beautiful, possibly, right? They are also human beings, and they are just as flawed as you and I are. And we are, because they are so public, we see all of their stuff coming out. And you notice this isn't the time of Jessica Lange and Jack Nicholson, of even Meryl Streep. It's like when you look at the rag magazines, they can't even find enough celebrity news to fill these magazines anymore. It's a different time, and celebrity in and of itself is changing in definition. So how do these guys relate to each other? Well, it's interesting to note. Let's just review Blake Lively's 4 pillars. So you have your year that you're born, which for her is a yin fire rabbit. Her month is a yang earth monkey. And then her day is a yang fire. So she's yang earth monkey month, yang fire horse day, yang metal tiger hour. Ryan Reynolds, born October 23rd, 1976 at 3:30 in the morning, adjusted for daylight savings time, also has a monkey and a tiger in his chart, just like Blake Lively, just in different positions. His 4 pillars are a yang fire dragon year, a yang earth dog month, and a yang earth monkey day, and a yang wood tiger hour. All right, so right off the bat, this is a very interesting person. I don't know about you, but Ryan Reynolds to me always feels like one of those guys that's just in easy loafers with a cardigan, just chilled out, right? Holding an iced tea in the backyard. He seems like that kind of guy. And it's interesting, right? The way that we mask, the way that we adjust ourselves in order to fit in, right? Or how we manipulate ourselves in order to hold power, influence, because his chart is a story of 2 battles. Ryan Reynolds, born in the year of the dragon, month of the dog, day of the monkey, hour of the tiger. Because the dog and the dragon are arch enemies. They sit at opposite points of the year. One is the eruption The dragon is the erupting spring, and the dog is the declining autumn. They are like two mountainscapes banging up against each other, creating an earthquake in your astrology, impacting those relationships with your ancestors and his parents. So there, even though it shows him seeing himself as equals, as buddies, and friends with his parents, there is opposition here. Now, it's not personal to him. There is an ancestral piece to this. And that is something, I'm very excited to mention this, maybe for the first time. I've started to look at that year pillar, which is your elders, taking it a step further to your ancestors. And what that brings in can be very interesting. All right, so just saying, I've seen some really interesting charts lately. All right, so then you have his day and his hour. His day as the monkey is yang metal, and the hour of the tiger is yang wood. That's opposition. That is a conflict of metal and wood. All right, so this is a man who internally with his astrology is conflicted with his career. He is in opposition with the other part of his chart. So there's opposition and conflict. So the thing that's interesting, because when we see people who have the fire penalty or other penalties or conflicts like this, when you are born with this astrology, as opposed to it coming in, because when it comes in, like a visiting year or a visiting luck cycle, and we all go through these 10-year periods, when it's the year, it can be a fast, swift, whoa, right? Like, God, what a year that was. I felt like a whack-a-mole. Yeah, we get those. And then there can be 10-year luck cycles that come in and turn your life upside down. They can also come in, swoop in, and be like, whoa, a whole bunch of really cool things happen. A lot happen, abundance or relationships and good things. And again, this is why it's so interesting to know your Bazi astrology, so that you know ahead of time, what kind of year am I going to have? Because I can tell you, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, they both have the tiger and the monkey. But the missing link to create a fire penalty is the snake, the year that we're in. And this is like the lighting of a match. Boom. Because we already had this whole mess started last summer. 7 months ago, 8 months ago now. And now it's like, the executives, the people that were involved in the movie are now suing for defamation. Like, such a mess. Who would hire her again? So all of this conflict in his chart. So Ryan Reynolds is a yang earth person, and Blake Lively, we know, is a yang fire person. Those two interact very well because fire creates earth. So this is a natural harmonious relationship elementally. When we look at the 5 elements, we are always looking for balance, just like in nature, right? And nature will adjust herself like a forest fire to rebalance itself. So his earth element is over 55%. So you have 5 elements. You're looking for 15 to 20% of each element to be balanced. He has a balanced amount of fire nourishing him, slightly weak amount of metal, though the metal at 12%, what he produces, what he creates, is probably higher just because he has so much earth. But there is hardly any water. His wood is balanced at 19%, and it's good that it is pretty strongly balanced because there's so little water nourishing that wood, which is his career. Water as his weakest element involves his marriage and romantic relationships, and his ability to take what he does and manifest it into something. So then we look to see, all right, so this guy needs metal and water to control all of his earth. So when we look at luck cycles and we look at years, we're looking for that element. We don't want to see more fire and earth, because then his chart is going to become even hotter and drier. And disease, especially cancer, thrives in a hot, dry chart. So the interesting thing is, when you look at industry, your job, your career, also is every career represents one of the 5 elements. Okay, so anything having to do with media, celebrity, acting, singing, the arts is a fire element. So the work that he does directly feeds his excessive earth element. We have seen so many charts, from Donald Trump to Beyonce, and so many in between. So many celebrities and political figures have an excessive amount of their own element. And it's not surprising. You know, it's all about me. It's a very self-centered world. It's all about, who are my people? Who's my audience? Who's got my back? Who thinks I'm fabulous today, right? Now, they both need water. Ideally, in a relationship, you want to be, like, for instance, somebody I was dating had a whole lot of water, and I need water. I have a lot of fire, and they needed fire. That's perfect. That's a wonderful thing when your excess benefits your partner and their excess benefits you, because then what are you doing? Balancing each other out elementally. All right, so his chart being the way it is, if there were no water, if there was no wood, it would be a different situation of a dominant chart here. But what we have is a fake follow self. They both, Blake and Ryan, both have a strong day master, but his is excessive. They both are artists. They both are innovators and creators. His day of the monkey and her horse together, oh my God, what a pair. This is like an electric rainbow, these two. This is energetic, lively, no pun intended, Blake. Like so enigmatic, these two together. But horses can be naive and gullible, and monkeys will take advantage of that. So who's the driving force behind this legal mess? Yeah, I'm pausing. Let's think about that for a moment. Justin Baldoni, Ryan Reynolds. Two very different looking men, right? I'll just leave it at that. Her rabbit, she's born in the year of the rabbit, does not get along well with his monkey or his dragon. The whole situation becomes overwhelming and frustrating. But that being said, like I was saying, your year is your overarching influence. Your day is who you are. I have seen people completely not in their day animal, but identifying more with their year animal for there's so many different reasons of why that can happen. For her, she is all about the horse. Her ability to pull from that rabbit essence, rabbits are so behind the scenes. It's like almost like her alter ego of so quiet and wanting everything to be in balance and harmony, and but rabbits can be snotty and condescending and moody too. They could be real snobs, but they also are great negotiators, and they really do love to sit down at the table and let's all get along. But that fire horse is her dominant influence, and that gets along great with both Ryan's monkey and dragon. Now, when you look at the day pillar of somebody and you're looking at, okay, what is my dude asking from me? What is this, what does your romantic partner, when you're looking at your astrology, you're looking for one thing from them. They may be looking for something completely different. And so when I do couple readings or family constellation, where I'm looking at everybody in the family's chart, like I just did one for a previous client who came back and said, let's do my child and my husband, because they were having a really hard time connecting with their teenage son. It is sometimes that happens, right? And, as our kids get older, it's sometimes they go through phases where it's really hard to identify and connect with them. So by doing that family constellation, I was able to identify where those missing links were, where they weren't connecting, and making good suggestions related to their 5 elements and the needs that they have. How can they now work together doing specific activities to bond as a family? Many, many reasons why we get our astrology charts read. So for Ryan is looking for more than anything, somebody to have fun with. He wants to do projects together, go out and build something, create something. Let's do things together. He's also looking for somebody that is his partner and his friend. After all, if you're going to be in the Ryan Reynolds show, you've got to be in his circle. And there is mention of money, that his romantic partner brings money in. There's also mention of infidelity as being something either done to him or he does to his partner. And a kind of a feeling of authority here. So for her, she's looking primarily for a partnership and a friendship in which, how can I say this? In which the person she's with allows her to play a different role, okay? To explore a different side of herself through relationship. And she is looking for somebody that is potentially younger than her, though that is not the case here. Ryan Reynolds is born in 1976 and Blake Lively is born 1987. So that's not the case, but it does show that she's looking for somebody with that boyish charm. somebody who is really smart and innovative, somebody who is a champion of new ways of doing things and is a bit of a rebel, right? Yeah. So the thing to recognize is that at this time in Ryan Reynolds' life, he is in from 2021 to 2031, from the ages of 45 to 55, a yin water rabbit is influencing his chart. And this is bringing in yin water and yin wood, which is putting emphasis on his marriage, emphasis on his wealth, his ability to be successful, to be healthy, to be vibrant. This is like the peak time of his life. The yin wood speaks of career, of family, of home, of his daughters, meeting all of his responsibilities, okay? Now, his chart is too yang. He is too in the divine masculine. And again, we are always looking for a measure of balance here. In his chart, like I was saying, the tiger and the monkey, this is like a conflict. He is at odds with his career. His career challenges him. This is a battle of wood and metal. They both are sort of balanced, but this is a conflict that highlights his career challenging his creative passions. Kind of like he wants to produce a movie and for whatever reason he can't get all of the backing or involvement to make it work. There is a struggle here between his career and his ability to create the things that he wants to create. Now, like I was saying earlier, when we bring that up, that conflict can motivate somebody that has an astrology chart that is this conflicted. It can be something where instead of cowering and becoming a victim, which I often see with clients, people feel victimized by their astrology. So when I illuminate it, when we look at your chart, we're able to identify, yes, this has always been there. How do you work with it? Because some people do, like this. He takes the challenge and he rises. Now, the conflict of dragon and dog boosts up his earth and brings down his water and his fire. Fire is what supports him. It's his backing. Water is his ability to thrive and make money. But it's all about him, that earth energy rising up. This luck cycle of the rabbit combined with his tiger and dragon forms a full wood trio. So this period of his life, like I was saying, this is his time. This huge surge of wood trio comes in and rises up. And what it does when you have a trio, it takes the place or it diminishes any conflict. So this 10 years eases the conflict of the monkey and the tiger. This is a good thing. But it also, in 2025, the snake is coming in to form this fire penalty. So there's all this emphasis on his career right now. And as there's all this emphasis on his career, we have a fire penalty. that is all about lawsuits, defamation, loss of fortune, possible divorce, possible illness, because stress makes us sick. And all kinds of things going wrong. So you've got this going on in both of their charts for this year. And more specifically, just to wrap this video up, 2025 speaks of the yin wood sitting on top of the snake for Ryan Reynolds is all about his career, his family, his home, his daughters, and meeting his responsibilities first and foremost. The snake, yang fire for him, speaks of where he is finding his backing. Where is my backing? Where is my funding for my projects? And it's also about the projects and things he's doing. And it's also about him and his supporters, his fan base. So you take all of that and you add that into this situation, the tiger being all about his career and his kids, the day master all about his marriage and himself. And that is where the fire penalty is going to be playing out. It is a hot mess for these two. And it is going to be the challenge of their marriage to get through this year, 2025, and it's just begun. This story is going to blow up, and I guarantee you, if there is going to be a trial like the Johnny Depp Amber Heard, I will be all over it and sharing it with you, friends, because this stuff is, wow, some interesting astrology. So again, thank you so much for watching. Keep your comments interesting, positive, and respectful. And until next time, be well.